now is the most interesting time to be alive because we are I've been saying the first generation that can figure out the deception and misrepresentation that's going on between the politicians, civil servants, the unlawful legal system, and the system of so-called health that we've had for the last hundreds of years, but the last 50 to 100 years particularly. I think they did an analysis, I think it was the Institute of Strategic Dialogue, that there is a listing in the world of the people that are the most censored. Number 3 is Dr. Vernon Coleman, who's been, an author, a broadcaster, and a medical doctor with an unblemished career for 40 years. He's number 3. I think Senator Dr. Scott Jensen from America is number 2, and I'm the most censored woman or person in the world for speaking out around COVID-19. So there is a huge amount of censorship, which is, of course, unlawful and an infringement of our inalienable right of freedom of speech. But it's also not just for us. So it's important for the listeners to hear the information and for us and them to be able to communicate adverse events or, what is happening to people who have been injected. So there is a huge amount of censorship that is meaning that ordinary people can't discuss things that affect their lives or their grandparents' lives or their children's lives.
Exactly. It seems to me that most of the information that you're talking about, and maybe even to a much lesser degree that I've been talking about in some of the videos that I've had censored, it's simply not available to normal people on the street, so they don't know.
Yes, exactly. So there are some, like I'm been banned from, Facebook, so completely. So I know someone did an interview with me and they uploaded it to Facebook, and within 6 seconds, it was taken off just when I started to speak. So I think what people listening to this have to say is that if they want a world where there is the lawful freedom of speech, they then have to move away from businesses and commercial enterprises that are censoring. Because if they know someone in their family or friends or community that now regrets having taken the injection because they've gone blind or they have heart attacks or they have epilepsy or they died, that was because those people didn't have the information that these injections can cause more harm than good. So I think part of what's going on now is the revelation that the world that we want to live in, we may have to defend and, decide every time you spend time on a source of information, so-called, or whether it's you buy your coffee or where you buy your food, that you need to actually look and see what are the principles behind those companies. Do they support informed consent, freedom of speech, freedom of travel, and privacy under the law?